Yeah, thank you, Chair, uh, Honorable Excellencies, all protocols observed. Good morning, good afternoon. My connection is not really good, and with your indulgence, moderator, I request that I mute my video to be able to manage with my fair connection. So thank you once again for giving PAFO an opportunity to contribute to this important topic on actualizing inclusive food system transformation in Africa through leveraging innovation and digitization. And of course, looking forward to the UN Food Systems Summit 2021. So as we globally prepare to commemorate this important Food Systems Summit 2021, it is evident that Africa should be the next frontier when it comes to agriculture transformation. And this is because we have the youngest population. By 2030, young Africans are expected to make up to 42% of the world's youth and accounting to 45% of those under 35 years in Africa. Again, we also have vast resources with a rough estimate of 60% of the global total uncultivated land in Africa. With all that, it accrues to enormous growth potential, but it can only happen if we can invest in the skills and technology development. And from the farmer's perspective, we believe innovation and digitization are very key to cause the transformation that we want in Africa. PAFO, as an important player in the agriculture sector in Africa, is again privileged to be sitting in the advisory committee of the UN Food Systems Summit 2021, where we believe it's a very important opportunity for us to bring forward the vast experience we have as a great input to the process and beyond. But from where we sit, we realize that the biggest challenge to unlock and actualize inclusive food system transformation lies in data. We've heard a lot from Dr. Agnes Kalibata and from Dr. Jamie. But we need data if we are to realize that. But it appears the agriculture community has not really figured out this. But we know the dynamics of data collection and analysis can be a little bit complex to many variables that are involved. The number and the capacity of the value actors are many, which makes it again a little bit complicated. When you look at the climate risks, the dry and the wet extreme shocks across the continent and globally, which have already been alluded on by Dr. Agnes, the unpredictable government policies. We have policies that all our governments have committed themselves to, but putting them in place is a little bit difficult. And we've seen also cases where policies keep changing with events. Then when it comes to the time lag that is involved, we really need a lot of patience to conduct such analysis when it comes to data. So from our perspective and experience as PAFO, of course, which has been generated through experience capitalization with our regional farmers organizations that are implementing digitization platforms, for example, the EF through the e-granary, and of course, learning from our member national farmers organizations in the 49 countries of our footprint, and learning from other farmer-led innovations in Africa, borrowing examples from the CTA Africa Digital Report, which was launched 2 years ago. To leverage innovation and digitization for inclusive food system transformation, the following need to be put in place. When you look at Africa, the setup and our production system, the land holding, it is very small. Farmers have, majority of the farmers farm from less than 2 acres. So farmers need to be organized into business clusters or cooperatives to be able to attract value chain actors through aggregation of their input, their service, and their output demand. There have to be business partnership agreements between the different actors along the value chains. Financial institutions, service providers, and off-takers need to be part of these business agreements. And we need to build the synergies through the public, the private partnerships with and through ongoing programs to leverage on existing resources, which is very critical, and it has to be embraced. We are talking of the UN Food System Summit, but we cannot transform the food systems unless we are all working together as one complete block. We have learned that the value proposition of the partnership to work must be derived from the economies of scale. The flow of information has to be clear. There has to be better communication channels that are put in place. Extension support is very important. And we have to continue negotiating from production of such innovations to the development and to the transfer of these innovations to the farmers who are the end users. Because we also need to determine their predictability and ownership. Farmers need to own the entire process. When it comes to technologies and these innovations, they have to be simple and easy to train and use by the farmers. When you look at the available infrastructure, is it favorable for some of these innovations, for example, when it comes to internet connectivity? From our experience, we've realized that, for example, the USSD can be very expensive depending on the service providers, of course, which is normally done through the network mobile operators. The farmers and the farmer organizations and the consumers have to be the preferred lead. We have to be part of every process, because at the end, all these innovations have to be tested with us in terms of their applicability. Unfortunately, not all the processes can be automated, and a lot of investment is needed in relationship and skills building. We need to build skills, we need to create a strong relationship. The innovations impact at the end have to be measured on the transformation they create on strengthening the agri-food systems. And finally, there's of course the need for patient capital to catalyze the process, since most of these innovations require rebooting at each and every stage to measure up with the changing environment. As I conclude, I must say it can be done. And on behalf of African farmers, I invite FAO and other development partners to support farmer-led innovations if we are to actually actualize transformation. Thank you.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I concluded, I don't know whether something, okay, my internet was interrupted, but as my conclusion remark.
Okay, it was almost 100%. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Elizabeth Mandala.